Okay, we are live. So let me go here to my page and change the setting. There we go. Okay, now we are officially live to the public. All right. Good morning for joining me this Friday on Educators Drinking Coffee. I have a special guest today, Ms. Leah, co-worker of mine, colleague. So I want her to kind of just introduce herself.
Hey, I'm Leah. I'm from Illinois. I graduated high school in 1987, which makes me older than Juan. Like I said, I grew up in Illinois, moved to North Carolina in 2000, and have lived here, in Durham for a while, and now here in Elizabeth City for the last 5 years.
Awesome. Now, and I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. I know you have a unique background. I think that's part of, what makes you awesome is your service.
Oh,
yeah.
I think about that most of the time.
But you did. When did you serve?
I'm considered a combat veteran from the Persian Gulf War. That was from 1990 to 91. In 92, I was back in Illinois. So I was in country from in Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait during that time.
Wow, that's amazing. No, and then, I guess by the time you were serving, I was in high school, and I do remember several friends who were going into military ended up serving, I guess, around the same time you did. But that's awesome. Thank you. It takes, I think I say, you're very brave. A lot of us talk a lot, but we don't commit to it, and you did. So appreciate that. So this is Educators Drinking Coffee. I got my mug that was from my sponsor. I do appreciate her sending me. It was more of a gift for my birthday, I'm sure, but I appreciate her. So I am drinking coffee. This is the same coffee I've been drinking. Actually came back this week. I've been drinking one that's from like TJ Maxx. It's too sweet. I don't like a whole lot of flavor. It's called Snowflake. Just by the name Snowflake, I knew I should have drank it. But morning, Mr. Harrell, Miss Lane. Consider this the meeting at the P for you. But yeah, no. So I went back to my coffee. This comes from Sabaneta, which is just outside Medellin. I wouldn't call it a suburb. It's a small little town that's now Medellin is so big that it's pretty much attached to it. So very cool little town, actually. They I'm trying to remember what they're known for. I don't know, but it's a little coffee farm from around that region. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking water.
So you're the healthy one here. No, that's good. It's good. We all need to drink plenty of water. I know I surely don't drink enough. And speaking of that, it's been crazy with the rain here. I don't know how it's been here in the Outer Banks. But cool. All right, so we're here talking. We're both, assistant principals, and we both have different backgrounds. Same thing. But I wanted to just straight off the bat just think about, you've been at Pasquotank now for 5+ years, and know the community, the student population, and tell me, as we got to that March 13, what went through your mind, your thoughts, concerns.
Well, I think I would say that my thought was, this isn't real. Like, what, are we really gonna stop having school because of a virus? What? And but just kind of doing some research, it didn't take very long to figure out that it was pretty serious and it was really real. My concern has been for two different groups of people, not just the kids, who I think they are resilient. They bounce back pretty easily. They'll be okay. I mean, I fear that they're not going to get the education, but I know next year everybody's going to have to kind of do that too, or at least a mindset that they're doing 2 years in one, or a little bit like that, so that they can kind of muster through and grow the kids to where they need to be. So the kids, but also our staff. I was really worried about, especially early on, what was going to happen to our hourly employees. This was before they put in the stimulus and then the emergency leave stuff. So, I wondered what would happen with them. What could we do to help them? I guess those are my two.
Yeah, I know. And you did mention something, and now thinking back, that I know you were, Mr. Zimmerman actually joining us. Good. Appreciate Mr. Zimmerman this morning watching us through YouTube. And my mom, I told you, she always checks in. Buenos dias, madre. But no, one thing you mentioned there, and I guess want to shout out is, I know from the beginning you were very concerned with our hourly workers. Because when you think of schools initially, you think of just the teachers, but there's so much staff behind the scenes and the teacher assistants and other paraprofessionals that we kind of forget about, but they're a key part of being able to instruct the kids and provide a quality education that we have maybe a little.
And it's scary, they're more than just employees. They have lives and families and so much more that they that they have to accommodate for. And I know our parents have too. Our parents, a lot of them are really struggling right now.
It is. I guess you and I are kind of lucky in the sense of the way our jobs are set, but not everybody is fortunate. Since you and I do have to say, I don't live in the actual Elizabeth City, but you kind of do live right there. What's been your feeling about the way the community has kind of grappled with all this?
I think there's, I don't actually live in Elizabeth City. I live in Camden, which is, and I live in Chicago, where there is pretty much a grocery store and a Dollar General. So my community, when we were really in the stay-at-home order, was my neighborhood. I didn't go into Elizabeth City very often, but my neighborhood has really bonded together. They did the painted rocks at the mailboxes. We did the search for different things. The neighborhood, like a bear in a window, because there are the Bruins in Camden. Whenever I have gone into Elizabeth City, what it seems as though it's been quiet. It doesn't seem like there's been as much traffic until they lifted the stay-at-home order, and now it seems like it's super busy, even busier than it was before. At one point, I went to Walmart right after they lifted the ban, and I was like, "What in the world? There are so many people here!" Like, it was shoulder to shoulder almost. Walking down the aisles, people are like 3-4 deep, trying to get around the corner to the next aisle. So that tells me that people want to get out of their houses. At this point, pretty much any excuse I can to go into town, I'm willing to do. I want to see people and do stuff.
I agree. I mean, and I would say the same thing is here where I live. I live about an hour away, but when I did go to Walmart here, and soon after they lifted that, or even, it's just, I think everyone was just so ready to see people and just be able to, even if it's interact from a little further distance than normal. But it's scary because there's still so much unknown. And then once they lifted the order for visitors to come here, it's been even crazy. I wonder if it is more people, or is it because we had been kind of just, we stayed at home for so long and see such few people for those about 2-3 weeks that it was, or almost a month, that maybe it's back to the way it used to be. It just looks.
We don't know, or we're just so hyper aware, somebody's getting close to me.
I'd say it's almost like when you buy a vehicle, you're like, I'm one of the first ones, and then you start seeing your vehicle around everywhere around the corner. So, all right, well, good. Now, as administrators, our role has changed. We no longer at least have to deal with bus issues. That's been a plus.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Discipline has been a plus, not having to deal with that. But so our roles have changed. So just tell us a little bit of how your role has changed now in the last, about 10, 11 weeks.
Okay. So I am doing a lot more facilitating. The meetings that I didn't have time to go to, like PLCs for different groups, now I'm able to, go to them, participate, do research to get ready for them.
Yeah.
I'm also, we did some online classes, some professional development. I've been working with a couple of the TAs, Mr. Harrell, and I think he's online, right? Did you say Mr.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Harrell, and Miss Lee, to put together different learning opportunities for different groups of people. They really took over and started doing everything with it. So we still check in probably twice a week to see what's going on. Right now, we've been working on trying to get things organized for graduation. We've created a spreadsheet and are contacting parents. A lot of the stuff that I do is responding to emails. Nowadays, I respond to emails from 8 to 10, have some meetings, respond to emails from 12 to 2, have some meetings, respond to more emails. And if I'm not careful, I can keep that cycle up well into the number of emails that are coming in here is just phenomenal.
I know. I got an email around 4 o'clock this morning.
Weird. That's so weird.
No, it's and that's part of the thing. This whole thing that I've said many times here. It just seems like our day has just, and I think everybody attests to this. It's just our days seem longer because our day is just jumbled into one. Before, I think there was somewhat of a separation between our professional life and our home life. But now since we're doing home from work, we're doing work from home. It's almost like you don't know where it starts and where it ends. It also makes me think about, I don't know about you, but I watch with my wife and my family a lot of these House Hunters International shows where people work from home, and I'm like, that is so nice. It would be so nice to work from home, but it really has made me think about that. That unless I'm not that one stickler, like this is exactly my time, don't bother me, don't even say a word near me when I'm working. So I don't know how they do it, but yeah, it's been crazy. So what do you do to kind of keep yourself sane, to try, because through all this you got to make time for yourself, your spouse, how do you and your family?
Well, I do have my gardens. So I have 3 raised beds that I have a bunch of vegetables in right now. I've planted, I went to a Rare Seeds website and ordered a bunch of seeds that that there's still fruits and vegetables that are common, but you don't see them in the varieties in the grocery stores.
Oh, those rare seeds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited to try some of the fruits of my labor once that happens.
Exotic fruits.
My husband and I like to go for motorcycle rides and ride in the boat and go fishing. He found a really cool place to go fish the other day, so we spent 3 hours there. That was a lot of fun. But most of the time, I feel like I always got something I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't have time. I feel like I don't have time to enjoy some of the downtime. We are doing trivia on Friday.
Yeah, that's right, today.
Yeah.
Well, good. Miss Lee says hi, or she says good morning. So yeah. They're both great people. I miss Miss Lee. I miss your coffee and your treats that my wife doesn't know I get. And my other person that helps me out around school, Miss Story, which hopefully she's doing well. The baby's doing well. Try to keep me from eating all that sugar. So, but and she keeps a tab, so I appreciate that. So when I don't have money. But yeah, no, and I know you've also been behind the scenes with our Teacher Appreciation Week, and you played a key role trying to make sure all our teachers got a lot of that stuff. So now it was a lot of work. I mean, Miss Lee's says LOL. Um, no, you definitely do a lot, and that's the things, and I think that's part of our jobs is a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I've said it before. Your job, my job, is to make our principal look good and do all the kind of dirty work, so they can kind of think big picture kind of things. Um, and so I'm trying to think as far as thinking. I'm kind of just going all over the place, but thinking of how you've gotten to the point where you are at in Elizabeth City. What would you say has been your toughest moment in the last 10 weeks in dealing with this whole thing?
Toughest moment. Well, I as we're going through graduation stuff, I'm noticing that there are some folks that have been either overlooked or underrepresented, and by that I mean students who either haven't got their requirements done to graduate, and if we were in school, we just pull that sucker out of class and take them down
Yeah.
and have them do it right there. But now it's hard to get a hold of them, can't find them. I worry about some of the kids. Like, I haven't heard from, some of them at all. Nobody's had any contact with them, so I'm wondering what they're doing.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the hardest moment was, um, I guess it really is kind of that a culmination of like not being able to be around other people, and then also having just a lot of stuff to do. So I can't really pinpoint a specific moment. Um, it seemed like there for a little bit I was just like grumpy about everything because just couldn't do the things that you wanted to do to help the kids like you're supposed to.
And I think it's different, but I think in some ways is some of the things teachers are facing in that you're not sure if what you're doing is you're doing the most that you can, even though it seems like and it feels like we're doing a lot. But am I doing the most that I can to help our kids? And like you said, you can't reach through the screen, and that's even if you get a hold of them
Mhm.
to kind of just try to help gear them or steer them straight into the to doing what they're supposed to do. And what effect this will have too. I mean, we know what affects sometimes things that are happening, but what effects these last 3 months will have moving forward, especially for the ones that still have years left of schooling. What effects it'll have, we'll see 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Just think about those kindergartners. They got only about half of schooling left, like you mentioned earlier. What are we going to do to try to catch up? Because there's a gap in learning from the last. Which is speaking of the gap, and you talked earlier about a little bit. How do you? I mean, I'm just trying to tread this lightly. Just trying to. How do you foresee the fall? Or what are your hopes for the fall?
Well, of course, I'm going to do whatever we, as a district and a school, choose to do. I hope that, as we have conversations about going online, that we don't forget that, every change has a ripple effect and affects
Yeah.
other people in different ways. And so I know that the plan is to look at things in unique ways so that we can continue to social distance and all that kind of good stuff. But I don't have a prediction, truthfully. I'm I'm guessing at some point, either Dare County, Camden, Pasquotank will become a hotspot for the virus, once it kind of moves into the area. And I'm guessing that at that point, all the things that are theoretical will have a completely different perspective for. So I think that will be when the rubber hits the road when it comes down to making decisions.
Yeah. It's
So
just
I guess I mean, I know that's probably not the most
no. It's hard because we don't know what the future holds. Things can change. And that's been the struggle with graduation. You know what I mean? I know everybody wants the traditional, but we're still, in phase one and trying to keep people safe. And it's like, how do you predict to say to, postpone something for 30 days that things are going to change? You really don't know. The experts don't know. So it's a tough thing. So trying to think about, tell me a little bit about, I guess we're going to kind of just reminisce a little bit about, you said when you were in Illinois, you taught. What did you teach?
I didn't teach in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
I was an after-school supervisor for a little bit as I was in school. So I began teaching in 2000 in Durham at Durham School of the Arts, and I taught 7th grade social studies and a high school class every year. And so for the first few years, I taught like civics or world history in addition to the 7th graders. And then I don't know, it was maybe the last 8 years, I became the yearbook coordinator. So I did yearbook journalism as the extra class. Actually, I had middle school and high school in the same classroom.
Gotcha. How did you? I'm trying to think because I started teaching around the same time, around 2000, down in Palm Beach County, and I was a lateral entry as an art major and stuff. Tried to do the whole thing for 2 years. Yeah, I still worked at a bank, but then tried to make the transition. But eventually, figured I did a little subbing before the end of the year. And then I think on the 2001 years when I officially started teaching. I tell you, I mean, I don't know what you call what I did that first year teaching, but I appreciate it. It was elementary. Has all your experience has been mostly middle school? What did you?
My teaching experience has been mostly middle school, but my first stint as an assistant principal was at an elementary at kindergarten through 3rd grade. And I also taught, because it was a small school, I got technology too, to kindergartners and 1st graders and 3rd graders and 2nd graders.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was a whole new perspective. And through that, I kind of discovered that like the sweet spot for teaching is 2nd grade, because 2nd graders still want to please you so much, they're willing to work really hard. By the time they be 3rd graders, they get really social, and so the chattering and the the boy girl conflicts start and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I did elementary for 2 years. Well, I taught in elementary for 2 years, and I was an administrator for nearly 2 years at a K-8 school. And the one aspect I really liked about elementary is the fact that I was still bigger than most. And I say most because there were 5th graders that are considered big, at least from my stance. But no, I enjoyed. I think I think you're the same way. You take every aspect of each level we've kind of been part of as a learning experience. Nowadays, and I think in some sort of way we use that to help us through all these. So now that we're coming into the end of the school year, probably the next week is really going to be busy in the sense of we're trying to ramp up everything for graduation, and then we have about a week after that. What are your hopes for when the school year? Not that we stop working, but that we hope things will ease a little bit. Are you hoping to? I know it's kind of weird to say take a vacation, but are you hoping to take a break? Are you hoping to do?
Probably not this summer. I think that I just really need to focus on getting stuff back to normal if that is even an option.
Mhm.
I usually go back to Illinois the first week in July and visit my mom. My mom is, she's about 80 years old. She might already be 80. I guess I should say that. She loves the 4th of July, so I try to go and spend at least that holiday with her, and then maybe Christmas too.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I'm sure you hopefully get to do that. I personally do. I feel like I need at least a week just to kind of disconnect. I've kind of talked a little bit about that. Just, we are in front of these screens now or on the phones a long time. And it's like, this is where you've been hearing about people taking vacations, disconnecting. Like, I think I need to do one of those at least for about a week. It's just tough. It's tough. And especially when you feel like you can't leave, if you were to go camping and say, maybe you could do it. I guess you could go camping, I guess now, not really thinking about it. But yeah, no, just trying to figure out us. I think we had a lot of work to do. And I don't know about your thoughts, but I think about there's so much to do for next fall, but it's hard to know what it is we have to do when we don't know what it's going to look like. I just hope that I just don't want to be getting into August and
all of a sudden you got to do
this and that. But it's hard it's hard to prepare for something you don't know what's coming, or exactly what's coming. So, but yeah. But anyways, I think we're coming up here. We still have a few more minutes, but I know we still have a lot of stuff to do today, Friday. I know you're gearing up stuff to help teachers finalize grades and things like that, and make contact, and so do I. And so I do appreciate you coming in this morning. It's been fun. I know you and I talk a lot, but it's weird talking like this sometimes, but it's kind of cool. But anyways, I do appreciate you coming in this morning for Educators Drinking Coffee. I do want to mention that I will take I was hoping to do 1 or 2 shows next week, but I may have to kind of postpone that to the week after. We just have to get through graduation next week. And being that I'll probably be looking to go to school every day next week, it's just kind of tough to do this at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'll take a little hiatus for about a week at least, and hopefully come back the following Monday, hopefully be able to do this, and then a little bit during the summer. But anyways, I do want to thank you for coming in this morning, Ms. Lane.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And this is Educators Drinking Coffee. And I will see you hopefully, what is the following Monday? Would be June. I'm bad. I've lost days. Somebody tell me. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Monday's the 1st, so it would be like the 8th, I think. The 8th of June. So hopefully we'll see you guys on the 8th of June. I appreciate everyone who's chimed in. This isn't the end, so we'll be back. Thank you. All right.